Well, as so often happens here in Alaska, something has come up today in which I'm going to have to go and pull somebody out of a ditch. So we have to do a quick rundown on what is going on with the Alaska news. First and foremost, of course, big storm hitting the Fairbanks area, not just Fairbanks, but most of Alaska, with all kinds of alerts being put out. Mostly, it honestly sounds more like fear-mongering than, obviously, natural preparation would be to make sure that you have 3 to 5 days of food and water on hand just in case. However, it is very serious warnings that are continuing to be put out through today, as they're saying that this is likely to last through Saturday. There's a new method that the state of Alaska is using to actually take a look at how much oil is going to be coming in. This new forecast is actually likely to lead to a lower production forecast, which is actually probably good news. It's going to be more accurate in the long term. The cruise ship that hit that whale back in May, pulled into Seward with the whale stuck on the bow of the ship. Well, the investigation has said that, yes, they did hit the whale, but they're not liable. So I'm not sure. Was this a suicide whale? I don't know. But basically, nobody's being held accountable for it. The Flint Hills Refinery, you remember they shut down production back over a year ago. Now they've actually demolished. They've actually started demolishing the refinery itself, which has led a lot of people to start losing their minds about, oh, no, what are we going to do? The jobs were already lost. It's just basically been it's been sitting there in mothballs, just being used as a storage facility. It makes more sense for the company to dismantle the refinery itself, because now they're going to pay less in taxes, which is part of why the city of North Pole is freaking out about it. They're going to have less money coming in. Speaking of money, a Juneau rape victim apparently was offered hush money from Stanford University. She had gone through this process. Instead of going through the courts, she went through kind of a mini court within Stanford University, since it was a former alum of Stanford, and she as well, who had allegedly raped her. They found him accountable for it, but did not expel him as was expected. And then they offered her $60,000 for counseling as long as she dropped the complaint. She said no. So now she's turned to GoFundMe to get the money that she needs for counseling. There's a man in Anchorage who's been sentenced to 12 years for involvement in a gang in Anchorage, which has direct contact with the Bloods down in Compton, something which a lot of people have known about, the increase in gang activity in Anchorage, especially being seen as one of the main reasons why there's a higher murder rate this year than ever before. Western Alaska is getting a special hunt, 2 moose. If you've already gotten one this year, you can get a second one. But if you didn't go in, you can go out and get 2 moose. It's an antlerless hunt. And so they're going to close it by emergency order if they get enough moose harvested, and if not, it'll go through the end of January. Also, reactions from Senator Kerry's farewell speech include from Senator Sullivan, where he basically says that Secretary of State Kerry's actions are going to hurt the peace between the Palestinians and Israelis. That way, what we got for our Alaska news today. Our commentary focuses in a little bit on fatherhood, specifically what to do with all those kids at bedtime. I've got some suggestions for you. Make sure you check it out on my website, radiofreespeech.com. Become a sponsor at Patreon or a direct subscriber, and make sure you tell all your friends. It's radiofreespeech.com.